Good evening, everybody, from Spirit Spiral Healing. We have a mysterious guest with us this evening, and this is our magical mystery evening with this guest. So, guest, can you please show yourself? All these lovely people are waiting for you. Oh my goodness, that is a real magician that we have in the house. What do you think of this magician, people, ladies and gentlemen? Shall we have the great reveal? Please reveal yourself. Dear people, do you know this person? Dear people, tell me, do you know this person? Please introduce yourself.
Okay, hi people. This is Roger Strings, and I'm a musician. I'm a vocalist, and um, the people who know me for uh, my part in the band, the unofficial Utopia. So yeah,
Yes, a very warm welcome to Roger Strings. Now, can you please stop being the mysterious guest and become
absolutely,
magical?
sure.
Because a few people in our audience have already heard you speak about magic. And
Yes,
I believe the topic of this conversation is going to be magic. So, first, you have to tell me what
I guess so.
magic is, right? What is magic?
What is magic? Magic. There are a lot of things that you cannot explain. For example, anything could be magic. Like a child getting on this planet for the first time, that's magic. Creating music and changing emotions with just the sound waves, that's magic.
Yes. And what is your favorite form of magic? What kind of magic are you going to show our guests today?
My favorite form of magic is obviously, I'm a musician, so my favorite form of music is, tampering with emotions and feelings with, by manipulating the sound waves.
Okay, so friends, Roger is a composer. He composes some amazing music. He does some fantastic originals. And many of the originals for Unofficial Utopia are clap harder, Roger. Come on, clap your hand at least. And so many people here know all about Unofficial Utopia and Unofficial Utopia's album, which I think has got so many hits on all the platforms, and people absolutely love this album. Roger, roll your eyes, please. Roger, please show us your T-shirt. Is that
My
official
t-shirt,
Utopia?
no, it's not a Utopia t-shirt, it's a Tomb of Lucifer t-shirt. They're having their gig really
Yes,
soon, so
yes.
thought
So
of wearing their t-shirt.
this is their gig introducing their album is coming up on. Don't you think? Okay, talking about magic, don't you think these gigs are a form of magic?
Yes, they are. They surely are.
And
You
tell
know
me
the
what is most magical about
intensity.
the gig?
The most magical thing of the gigs, it's not just the gigs. I would say it's the entire magic is about this entire culture of heavy metal itself. Like Rob Zombie once said that, heavy metal, like no one wants to be the weird kid. You somehow just end up being the weird kid, and heavy metal is just like that, except it's just like that, all the weird kids under one roof.
Okay, so that means I'm a weird kid too. Well,
Yep. You are.
yes, let me come to a point here. Okay,
Yes.
every era has got some music that changes the pattern, that pushes the
Yes.
boundary, that breaks the stereotype, and alters something in people's minds. That means that every era, you see, it used to be every era. Now I'm finding
Yes.
this is happening every moment. Every moment, every moment, something new is happening. And isn't that magic?
Yes.
And this is what
That is.
This is what I have found most overwhelming, which is why I wrote a short piece on this. I was thinking about all the conversations. You see, people, Roger and I go back a long way. And by going back a long way, what I mean is that we go a bit. Which was the gig at which we met, Roger?
Um, the first gig that we met, it was Summer Assault back in February, I
We
guess.
met at Summer Assault. You played at Summer Assault.
Yes.
Is that when we made friends?
Yes, yes,
Were
yes,
we friends
yes.
before that?
No, no, no. That was the first gig when you collected the passes from me.
Oh, so we were friends before that then.
We were talking before that, yes. We were talking before that, and later on you took the passes, and after that,
How did we start talking? At which gig did we connect? Now,
uh,
the 1 second, Roger. The audience for this live chat is not only metal people, not only musicians, not
right,
only artists, not only people who are of your age group, but there are a lot
right.
of people in my age group who are going to be watching this chat with great interest.
Absolutely.
And there are people your age also who don't really relate to metal. So when the moment you talk about a gig, the first word that comes to mind is metal. On the other hand, rock and roll has been doing this for years and years. Folk
Yeah,
singers
yes,
have done this for years and years. And not only that, our indigenous singers in Bengal and elsewhere in the country have always had gigs.
yes,
I mean,
yes, that's
what happens when Holi or something comes around? What are all these bhajan sessions that go on, which are so charged up with energy and everybody is having a jolly good time? What happens
that's
during,
also a gig.
since time immemorial, we have had those gigs during Pujo to the Dark.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I mean,
Aren't those?
be it rock and roll, be it any kind of music that helps you connect. I mean, I'm not a religious person myself, but then again, religion is very, very subjective to an individual. It's like, if you're singing a song about your God, let's say, whoever your God is, you're singing a song about your God, and if that song helps you connect, if that song gives you peace, then yeah, so be it. So any kind of concert where there are like-minded people connecting with each other,
Hmm.
connecting with the strangers all around them, um, be it on the stage or be it their fellow audience. uh, I think that's a moment of magic. That's anyways that's a moment of magic.
Okay.
It's a gig.
For years together, I have attended classical music concerts. When my father was abroad, he was a fan of opera. And whenever I
I'm a fan of opera as
fan
well.
of opera, right? Freddie Mercury was a fan of opera.
Yes, he
Yes.
was.
And he sang some beautiful numbers with Montserrat Caballé. Isn't that her name?
Yes.
Also joined him in heaven much later. So they were a pretty pair and they made some phenomenal music together, I have to say. And so you see, there's something about metal which reminds me of opera, because I don't see metal without the performance.
No, you don't. You don't.
Performance is a very, very major part of how we communicate and connect through metal.
It was always about metal was not always about just the music or the composition. It has always been about music with the imagery of it, with the theatrics, um, with the visualization of it. So
Yes.
yeah, it has always been that way. It has been like this grand thing that you can see in front of you, like a circus. In the old times, there used to be these grand circuses and grand performances, grand carnivals. So yeah, it's a replication of that. I think it has always been the replication of that carnival. It doesn't happen anymore. It happens in a few places, but doesn't happen. It is not that rampant nowadays. But heavy metal probably the culture derived a lot of its essence from those things. You know.
And what do you think are the bridges we can build to people who have not really got into metal? Because see, I'll tell you what people find difficult about metal. I think they find, first of all, the decibels. When you're above a certain age or you have certain sensory issues, like I myself have some sensory issues, and which is one reason why you are not seeing me very often at gigs, because I am
Right.
actually I'm in the process of rounding off my treatment. And for those who don't know, I had been very ill in 2021, and in fact, once I got over, I should say that I found my courage to step out via gigs, via metal gigs. And one thing that really drew me to these gigs was the immense warmth and the kind of welcome I received. Because these gigs are not. I would say. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, every group of people have their black sheep and their a few strange things happening which are not very palatable. But overall, I would say as a community, they are very warm and welcoming, and there is absolutely no judgment. So you see, when I walked into a metal gig, nobody said, "Who is this oddity coming in?" Because everybody who's going to a metal gig is supposed to be an oddity. And you see, once upon a time at a rock and roll gig, that was the same thing. But when you
Yes.
go to these snooty clubs, where they play that posh music, even the posh pop music, you're supposed to be well dressed, you're supposed to behave in a certain way, and also, preferably, you're supposed to be rather wealthy. Let's face it. And there is something which is so much about the masses, about common people at these metal, not only the metal gigs, but those people who are creating the metal music are really, when you come to think of it, they are just boys and girls next door. They don't have all that. When okay, they're in costume on the stage, maybe you see them on stage, they're very, very relatable characters. You could just pass them by on the road, and they could be just anybody, just one of you. So this is one thing I find really comforting and comfortable about these people. And this used to be the case also with the rock and roll people, except that I would see one thing about rock and roll, unless it was the student crowd, over time these bands started playing mainly in clubs, mainly in venues where, as I say again, the somewhat privileged people would go. Whenever
Right.
you take music to more privileged people, and certain norms come into it, certain behavioral norms come into it, certain dress codes, certain ways of behaving, certain expectations from one another. And I
Right.
found this all ripped apart and dumped when it came to the metal crowd. So you see, I walk in a sari. I
Yes, you do.
in my everyday clothes, which I'm just almost like what I've slept in. I could walk into a gig in that, and everybody is going to say, "Hey, you've come join us, headbang with us," and that's it. Nobody's looking at you, nobody cares about all this. And
Yeah,
I'm
that's true.
really scared, that at some point this culture may go away.
uh, this culture may go away. I don't think so. This culture will go away because this culture has been evolving, I'm not talking about metal, I'm talking about this culture. Because metal, this culture that you are talking about, this culture doesn't have a name. I don't know the name. Probably it has a name, but I don't know the name. But this culture has been going on since a long, long time now. I mean, it's a what? It's a form of rebelling through music, right?
Yes, but
It's a form of
once
rebelling through.
rebellion becomes mainstream, then a new form of rebellion has to take over. So if
A
every
new form of rebellion has to take over. I mean, back in the days, like centuries ago, if you listen to Beethoven now, you won't find it so rebellious, because it's not your rebellion. It's not for you to rebel, you know. But when Beethoven was composing the songs back then, the tritone, the blues notes, that was something very forbidden from the musical community, and he was using that over and over again,
Hmm.
and that was very rebellious for the people back then. I
Yes,
mean, if you listen to Elvis now, you won't find it rebellious, but
you
uh,
find Elvis, you
in
find
Elvis's time, it was very rebellious.
yes. So everything has a context. But at the
Yes,
same time, today I find that those contexts are all overlapping. You have your rebellion,
contacts.
I have mine. You see, there's somebody who wears black to a metal gig, but then everyone's wearing black to a metal gig. So my rebellion is to wear pink and go to a metal gig. Everybody is dressed in a certain way, the same black t-shirt. Everybody has, after a time you say, okay, I've seen this person somewhere. No, I've not seen this person somewhere. It's somebody else I've seen somewhere. So then there has to be some rebellion against that. So I was rather pleased with myself, when all my pictures, with the horns, like you've seen my pictures with the horns and that, that dance chant,
Yes, yes.
like a Rovindra Sangeet singer,
Yes,
I'm
I remember that picture.
and I'm there at the metal gig and everybody's screaming F that S, F that S, pardon my French, and I'm also screaming along with them. So that must be a form of rebellion, right?
Uh, if you think so, yes, it is.
I'm not rebelling against anybody for the sake of rebelling. I'm just going there and being myself.
Yeah, that's the point. No,
So
I mean,
come to a point where we don't need rebellion. We have freed
right.
up the world. So all we are doing basically is to be ourselves. You wear a suit
Yes,
and go to a metal gig. Nobody is going to glare at you and say, "Why have you come in a suit?"
I have gone to metal gigs by wearing formal shirts, sometimes.
If I
So yeah,
can go to a
it's
metal
all
gig
right.
in a sari,
I have seen people come to metal gigs wearing Punjabi, yeah, and
a Punjabi,
they are very heavy metal people, they're very heavy metal people, like yellow bhai phota Punjabi, and they're in a metal gig, and they are very metal people. I know them, but yeah,
you can be a metal person and be like that. You can also be a rock and roll person and be like that. You can
absolutely
be anybody.
doesn't matter how you dress up,
So what have
just
we really done? What have we really done? Now I'm coming to a little bit about me and the work I do.
absolutely
You see,
sure.
I have this now for people. I think most of you know what spirit spiral healing is doing, so I won't give that little lecture about myself. Everything is available on the YouTube channel, everything is available on the Facebook page, the blog posts, everything's there. But the point is that why am I organizing these workshops? Because people are still finding these struggles with hard drawn boundaries, rigid boundaries, borders through which there's no movement, there's no interaction. How do you free that up? You see, one of the main offerings, as far as one of the main themes I work on is porous borders and elastic boundaries. And this is what I found. This is where I had my revelation, when I went to these gigs. I said, what's different? Something's different. There's nothing like I'm going to this place, I have to dress like this. I'm going to this place, I have to look like this. Or even I'm going to this place, and if I don't spend like this, I'll be judged. No. That's let me tell you, that's a very big deterrent for people. If you go to a classical concert, you're sitting in tears. You have the VIP seats, you have the box seat. You don't have all this at a metal gig.
Right,
A
right.
bit,
It's a very
it's a bit like the Indigo airline used to be when it started. It started selling, and then started selling food, and then started selling jadu services and everything.
right.
So first it prided itself on being an airline with no first class.
Only for the first class, yes.
So you see, this is I'm scared that metal gigs are going to turn into that kind of thing where you become a VIP at a metal gig, and okay, like I'm seeing things like meet and greet, which are making me a little uncomfortable. I mean, who are you meeting and greeting at a metal gig? You all go to the metal gig, you all jump on the stage.
That's how it was
You
supposed to
all
be.
have one another. That's it. How do I know
Yes.
so many metal musicians? I'm chatting with them. They're asking me if I'm okay and I'm doing well, and
Yes.
they're wishing me for my birthday. And these are not any kind of, believe me, these are not any kind of small fry. What I have realized is I feel so happy and sated in 2022 because I frankly feel that the musicians I've listened to and watched are world class.
Yes.
The world class can say what they want about them. I have my opinion and I will stick to it. I think all these musicians are phenomenal, and I am really very privileged, to among them. So
No,
with
that's something.
Zoom is now telling me I have only 10 minutes to go, and I have this little speech I wanted to read out. So I will read it out
Please go
now.
ahead.
I'll just read
Please
it
go ahead.
out. Yes. And then we have some music coming. So I've just written any new form of music is about a shifting boundary, maybe any art form for that matter. I believe we need those shifts to find our creative center and balance. In today's musical realm, the most magical aspect is that boundaries are elastic like never before and borders more porous than ever. It feels like I'm standing at the confluence of streams where there is a constant intermingling of waters, or at a shoreline where waves form a myriad patterns in light, sound, texture, and scent that are never the same, shifting and redrawing a liquid line. Again, you see the light and shade in a forest, or even surprisingly in an urban glade, in clouds, in the changing colors and moods. No, I'm not trying to write a song, but musical forms in all their richness and complexity have come to coexist like never before. And while musical expression relies increasingly on technology, musicians seem tuned in more than ever to nature in all its manifestations. This fascinating creative paradox has me hooked like nothing on earth. It's so with visual art as well. But as my mom would say, sound gets you before visuals do. And hence, silent terminals in airports are an epic fail. But to return to topic, you are a musician and creator of many paths. How do you personally navigate this dynamic and stay true to your essence? So over to you, Roger. You have to answer that question.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer that question. So you see, sometimes it's really tough to be honest with yourself, and I mean, for people who are constantly doing it, it sometimes does become really tough to be honest with yourself while making music. But then again, there are certain moments where you are very honest with yourself, where you are very you know you don't have to answer to anybody. Those moments, I'm talking about those moments. And how do I handle these things? I try not to write songs which I need to write, which I have to write, like, forcefully. I don't want to write songs forcefully. I don't want to compose music forcefully. It has to come from within me. It has to come from how I'm feeling inside. It could be a song that sounds like, Bob Dylan. It could be a song that sounds like Iron Maiden. It could be a song that sounds like anything. So it could be a song that sounds like me myself. But yeah, I think those are the moments which are very honest. I mean, we should take time. We shouldn't hurry. We shouldn't rush while making art, because it's not quantity. It's not how many pieces of artwork you're making in your lifetime, but it's what's the impact of the creation that you made. The impact of your creation, whether be it on just one person, be it on a big mass, be it on just you, but there has to be an impact, or else what's the magic that I was talking about? That's the magic, the impact, that's the magic. If there is no impact, if there is nothing, there is no feelings to it, if there is nothing, then there is no magic. I mean, I'll quote Dave Grohl here. Dave Grohl once said that, uh, what's the what's the most beautiful and magical thing about a live show? No, so the interviewer, they asked, that what is it? Dave Grohl answered that the most beautiful and magical thing about a live show is that you are singing in front of thousands of people, and thousands of people are singing back to you. But the magic happens when you realize that all those thousand people are singing along with you for thousand different reasons. They have their own tales, they have their own stories, they have their own connections to your music, and that's the magic of it. So yeah, that's the impact, that's the magic.
You feel it's not important to make this lucrative. You want to keep
To make this,
lucrative. You wish to keep music separate from anything. Is there a way of making this also paying, of also earning your bread through this?
yes, people are earning their bread through music, right?
You feel that there are major compromises to do that, where you are needing to be dishonest, or can we change the whole scenario where we can be honest and still make it work? Where we can be ourselves and still make it work. That's the big
I
challenge.
really hope, I really hope that day comes really soon. But as of now, there is another thing to it as well. That you mentioned with the growing of technology and that part. I'll say something here. That is, with the help of technology, be it access to the entire world, there are like billions and trillions of people, or billions and trillions of musical pieces coming out every day, right? So it's not necessary that my music isn't necessary for the world. It's not needed, it's not very much needed. Like Bob Dylan's songs were needed at that point of time, my songs are not needed. But that's the sad part. But the good part of it is, even after realizing this, if I'm doing music, then I'm doing it solely out of love and honesty.
I think that's
And
beautiful.
that's something, yeah, that's the good part of it.
Maybe I'm doing healing, maybe. Now, unfortunately, we have 3 minutes and 42 seconds left. So
Yes.
shall we round this off with a song? And to my
Absolutely.
audience, I'm hoping that Roger and I will host a regular talk show in future. We are working on
I
this the
I
last
would love to.
where we would where we'd be talking to you about various issues in the art world, where there is so much to really talk about, and we would talk about, because my specialty is healing through creative resources, and everything that Roger is talking about, everything he speaks of deploying, is really a creative resource. I mean, if you listen to this more than once, to the when we share this with you. I think you will see how many creative resources we have deployed today in bringing this to you. And it was actually, it was quite a feat for the two of us to put this together. And I think
Yes.
it is amazing. So now take out your
Yes.
paper and start, and we will wind this up because we have a little over 2 minutes. So
See,
you,
people have already heard me sing a lot. Why don't you sing this time?
okay, so just give me the note. I'll sing one verse and you complete the song.
All right, all right.
Is a house in New Orleans. They call it the rising sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor boy. And Lord, I know I'm one.
My mother was a sailor. She sewed my new blue jeans. My father was a gambling man down in New Orleans.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. That was absolutely beautiful, and it has been an absolute pleasure and an honor. Please, all of you, give a big cheer to Roger Strings. Come on.
And a big cheers for you guys as well.
Peace and rock and roll. Stay metal all.
Peace, love, and rock and roll to all of you.
And here's